Welcome to the Cicero Regular Town Board Meeting, Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. If you please note, there are two emergency exits in the rear of the room and one to my right up here. Would please silence your cell phones and stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We're deeply saddened to share that the 12-year-old Anna Marie Menken of Central Square tragically lost her life after being struck by a vehicle while crossing the road after school. On behalf of the town of Cicero, our hearts are with Anna Marie's family, friends, and the entire community during this time of the unimaginable loss. Thank you. Would like to speak on behalf of the agenda items prior to the meeting? Okay. Move on to the abstracts. Councilor Hogan.
Move for the adoption of a resolution approving abstracts number 13 dated 4/2/2025, abstract number 14 dated 4/9/2025.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Vote no or abstain. Passed. It's a continuation of the public hearing. You consider the Town of Cicero Comprehensive Plan. And we will open the meeting up at 6:31 p.m. And does John Steinmetz, who's our rep here tonight, you want to say anything?
Can you hear me now? Okay. Actually, no, Supervisor. That was a lot of energy just to say no. Just here, if there's questions, I'm happy to walk you through the secret process in as little or as much detail as the board wants. And I just want to take one more time to acknowledge the committee members that are here for all their hard energy and hard, volunteer time on this effort.
Thank you. Board members, anybody want to say anything? Okay. At this time, if anybody wanted to come up and speak on behalf or against the comprehensive plan?
Good evening, Judy Boyke, Muskrat Bay. Just a couple questions. Once this is in place, I guess we would all like to know what is the next step? Because obviously how are we going to take care of our infrastructure to bring that up to date or get it in process? Because that's going to be the first long-term thing. And if we're thinking of building, we really need to look at our roads, our sewer and our water and our sewer and our gas lines. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Jay Reardon. I am completely in support of the comprehensive plan. I think it's a great document that has come a long way and has been honestly decades in development. So that is an excellent job. I do have two particular concerns. Perhaps Mr. Steinmetz or anybody else involved can just explain what is going on with the previously orange triangle at Mudmill, McKinley, and Skinner, which was pushed back to from a mixed residential zoning to an agricultural zoning, which actually seems fine. I mean, it seems like the community wants this more than anything else. So that's all great. I do have to, I just saw on the agenda that you're actually making a seeker declaration here. And that's the more substantial point. based on case law, as I understand it, and I'm not a lawyer, like Counselor Carp is, and I do not intend to give legal advice to anybody, but I do have to specifically identify on the record today that I do have concerns, substantial concerns, about this not following fully the established seeker apparatus through New York State. Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay. We'll close the public hearing at 6:35. And the seeker, and John, you want to comment on this?
Yeah, so under New York State law, the adoption of a comprehensive plan, either the first one or the update, it doesn't really differentiate between the two, is a type 1 action. So under a type 1 action, you do a full environmental assessment form, which we completed part 1. There's 3 parts. We included part 1 with referral to the county. Part 2 is a series of 18 different questions as to what the impact of this legislative action will have on the environment. It talks about things like impact on land, impact on energy, community character, things of that nature. And then part 3 is essentially just dotting the I and crossing the T to whatever decision you guys arrive at tonight or at some future board meeting regarding the environmental impact or lack thereof of this process. The one thing that to keep in mind in terms of the adoption of a comprehensive plan, what I think what the common practice is 99% of the time is the acknowledgement that the comprehensive plan in and of itself does not move dirt. In and of itself does not require more energy other than the lights to keep the meeting on it and meeting like tonight. So this adoption process really does not have any impact on the actual environment of Cicero. In our seeker documentation, we have acknowledged that future projects, whether it would be a large land development, redevelopment, and some other type of investment would need to go through a detailed seeker process. It would talk about, how much earth is being moved, what's the impact to the roadways, things of that nature. So there is going to be a lot of different seeker processes that would be undertaken following the adoption of this plan when people want to put a shovel in the ground for various types of investments or projects. And I think New York State law, when they changed the seeker form, I lose track now, everything's pre-COVID, it feels like 10 years ago. They actually acknowledge the fact that these planning processes don't have as much of an impact as a physical project does. So the old form actually has been updated to the current form to reflect that. We used to have to fill out pages after pages of non-applicable information, and we don't have to do that anymore. So that's further evidence that New York State has acknowledged that these types of legislative actions do not have the direct impact on the environment.
Thanks. Thank you. Okay, whereas the Town Board of Cicero has declared itself the lead agency for the purpose of the adoption of the 2025 Comprehensive Plan, whereas the Town Board has completed Part 1, 2, and 3 of the Seeker Environmental Assessment Form for such plan, and now therefore be resolved that the Town Board issues a negative declaration for the purpose of the seeker and determined that the 2025 comprehensive plan will not have any significant adverse environment impacts for the following reasons. There were no significant adverse impacts to the land, water, air, plants, or animals, aesthetics, resources, critical environmental areas, noise and odor, and public health identified. As a result of the plan's adoption, there were positive environmental impacts regarding land use, water quality, agricultural resources, historic resources, open space and recreation, transportation, and character of community. Adoption of the comprehensive plan emphasizes managed growth that maximizes the potential benefits of the town of Cicero as a result of the Micron semiconductor plant being built in the town of Clay. Specific project development as a result of the plan's adoption must undergo further site-specific review. Specific agencies with further discretionary review include, but are not limited to, the New York State Office of the Parks, Recreation and Historic Preservation, Cultural Resources, New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, agricultural lands, and New York Department of Transportation, road improvements. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Second.
Discussion. We're going to do a roll call vote. Yes. Yes, go ahead, Tracy.
Counselor Hogan,
Yes.
Counselor Mauricio.
Yes.
Counselor Carp.
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo.
Aye.
Supervisor Aragano.
Aye. Decision, whereas the town of Cicero began the development of the comprehensive plan in February 2023 to provide the community advisory board members and elected officials with guide upon which further land use and infrastructure investments decision may be based. And whereas the ongoing comprehensive planning process under the direction of the steering committee has resulted in the draft of the 2025 comprehensive plan. And whereas the town board has determined that it is the best interest of the community to adopt the plan, recognizing that it not only identifies a unified policy direction for the town, but also provides an action-oriented framework for the achievement of such policy in cooperation with local partners such as the county and state. Now therefore be resolved that the town board adopts the 2025 Town of Cicero or Town Comprehensive Plan. And be it further resolved that the plan hereby replaces the comprehensive plan for the town of Cicero, which was completed in September of 2026, but never officially adopted. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Second.
Discussion?
I'd just like to thank all the members of the community that participated in this, whether it being part of the advisory board or participating at the meetings. I'd like to thank the Town of Cicero staff and, of course, the staff members from Colliers who assisted us with this process.
Yes. Anyone else? Roll call?
Counselor Hogan,
Yes.
Counselor Mauricio.
Yes.
Counselor Carp.
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo.
Aye.
Supervisor Aragano.
Aye. Do you want to? I'll let you read that if you want. You want to read that?
Yep.
We're going to read a quote that came from a decision that came from the county as well.
Yeah, for the record, this is the comments from the County Planning Board in response to the GML 239M referral of the comprehensive plan. Now therefore be it resolved, the Ontario County Planning Board recommends the said application be approved. The board commends the town of Cicero for its timely and well-considered comprehensive plan as it relates to planning initiatives within the town and within the context of anticipated changes to the area. The plan largely reflects the goals and vision of Plan Onondaga as it relates to the creation and support of centers that support new development, transit and walkability, opportunities for new housing types to meet changing demographic needs, exploration of new trails and recreational spaces and mobility options, reuse of underutilized lands and infill development, preservation of environmentally sensitive lands, and celebration and access to the waterfront.
Thank you.
Supervisor, if I may, just to close the loop on this, one, congratulations, and thank you for your time and energy in this. Two, the housekeeping items left for us. One, we always like to put the adopted date on the document, so the next version you will see will have an adopted date. And I've been promising a plan with a better looking cover. The next version will have that as well. So those will be the two changes that you see in the next version of the document. And I think we have draft in there a few dozen times. That will obviously be removed. So thank you.
Thank you. Before we go on to the next agenda item, I just want to read something quick. A sincere thank you to you and our comprehensive planning partners, especially Kate Fiorello, our engineer, Steve Procopio. Their time and energy put behind this was fantastic. The town of Cicero extends its heartfelt gratitude to Colliers Engineering, especially to John Steinmetz, Katie Darcy, and Leah Ann Kimber for their dedication and expertise as our comprehensive planning engineering firm. Over the past 2 years, your timeless efforts have helped lay the foundation for a thoughtful and strategic roadmap that will guide Cicero's growth and development for years to come. We also want to sincerely thank the members of our comprehensive planning committee for their commitment, insight, and many hours that they dedicated to this vital initiative. We have Mr. Jamie Pardee, Mr. John Barrett, Mr. Daniel Hanks, Mr. Michael DeVero, Mr. Darren DeBatis, Mr. Anthony Rojas, Ms. Christy Rappel, Mr. John Perdigan. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Mr. Brian Anderson, Mr. John McCullough, Mr. Stephen Losi, Miss Mary Scanlon, and Mr. David Eef. If you're here, would you please stand? If any of you are here, we want to thank you for your time. Your collective vision and collaborative spirit have been instrumental in shaping a plan that reflects the values and aspirations of our community. We also are grateful to the Honorable County Executive Ryan McMahon and the Onondaga County Legislature for their generous financial support of our comprehensive plan. Their partnership has been vital to making this initiative a reality. I would also like to thank and express our sincere gratitude to the Cicero Town Board for embracing the plan process. Your support is essential in bringing the plan to life, and your commitment to the Cicero's future, deeply appreciated. We have taken a significant step forward in ensuring a brighter future for the town of Cicero. This comprehensive plan will serve as a guideline and a guiding document for our planning board and other decision makers as we work to preserve the character of our town while promoting sustainable and balanced growth. And I want to thank everyone here who has been involved. Thank you. We're going to move on to number, well, we just do 5 and 6 quick.
Yes, I thought we.
Good. Good.
Okay. Move the adoption resolution setting a public hearing on April 23rd, 2025 at 6:30 PM to consider local law modifying the current moratorium in the area south of Oneida Lake. The purpose of this moratorium would be to, or this local law, correction, would be to terminate the application of the moratorium to the parcels included in the waterfront overlay district.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed. Move for a public adoption of a resolution to set a public hearing on April 23rd, 2025, commencing at 6:30 PM local time to consider 2025 community development grant application for roofing, heating, and lighting enhancements at the Cicero Senior Center.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed. You want to have Lieutenant Myers? You want to have the new officers come up? We'll do our part first. Move for the adoption resolution to hire Daniel Bova and Taylor Jones as a full-time recruit police officers at a starting pay rate of $59,494 per year, effective April 7th, 2025, budget code 002-3120-0100-000.
Second.
Discussion. We want to congratulate these two recruits and wish them well. And it's going to be fun over the next 26 weeks. I can tell you that personally. I can tell you that you're going to have some good times. Enjoy and stay safe while you're there. And go ahead. All in favor?
Aye.
Can we get a second? Did somebody second this?
Councilor
Okay.
Papala did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed. State your name.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and the Constitution of the State of New York, all laws of state and local authority, and established practices of the Common Cicero Police Department. I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer. For the Common Cicero Police Department. According to the best of my ability. And with the highest level of integrity.
Everybody line up.
That's the handshaking. You want some hand on the Bible. I got in there, I like doing every time I handshake. I do it all day long for work.
No.
You should have done that first. Done.
Really.
Okay, those two officers are being hired as our 2026. They won't finish the academy until probably November, the end of the year, or let me see. Yeah, probably November, and then they have to be on FTO for a while, so they're going to start our 2026 retirees. And I believe we lost one, so we're still seeking another one. Yep. Okay, thank you, Lieutenant. We're going to solicit bids for air sealing, vapor barrier, and insulation services. Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve soliciting bids for air sealing, vapor barrier, and cellulose insulation services for the Cicero Police Department, 6200 Route 31 in the town of Cicero. Sealed bids clearly label Cicero Police Department insulation project, and on the outside of the envelope must be received by the Cicero Town Clerk, Cicero Town Clerk's Office, 8236 Brewerton Road, on Thursday, April 17th, 2025 at 12 p.m. to be open publicly.
Second.
This is, oh,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Discussion. This was previously bid out last year, and the person fell through. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Move the adoption resolution authorizing the Parks Department to move forward with submitting an application for $50,000 funding from the Community Development Block Grant for enhancements to the Cicero Senior Center, as well as a 5-year plan as required by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. The town board further agrees to allocate approximately $12,500 in funds to meet the required match for this grant.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Move the adoption resolution to approve an estimated expenditure of $70,500 to Salt Springs Paving Company to install asphalt pavement at several walkways and seating areas at Skyway Park to improve accessibility to park amenities. Salt Springs Paving Company was awarded the paving contract for the county. The project will be funded by an approved $50,000 community development grant, as well as budgeted funds from 2 park reserve accounts. Budget code 001-7110-4600-0001, 001-0000-1289-0006, and 001-7110-4900-1004.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move the action resolution approving the surplus of the park's 2014 F-350 regular cab pickup truck with plow and sander through Auctions International, and further resolve that the funds received from the sale be allocated to the park's equipment account to go towards purchasing and equipping a new truck.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move the adoption resolution approving the purchase of a 2025 Dodge Ram 3500 4x4 chassis cab truck from McGuire Motors in the amount of $53,794.43 through New York State bid pricing, OGS contract number PC 68973 SSB, to be later equipped with plow and dump body. Expense to be coded to budget code 001-7110-0220-0000.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve Cheslaw tree removal Onondaga County contract number 5268 to remove dead, dying, and dangerous trees in the highway right-of-way for 2025 in the amount of $35,000. Budget code 003-5140-4036-0000.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve AAA quick plows and lawns to perform lawn mowing services at the Highway Department for the 2025 season. That'll be from April 15th to October 31st in the amount of $6,583.36, and authorizes the supervisor to sign any and all documents. Budget code 003-5132-4000-0000, and the bids were attached.
Second.
Discussion? There were 8 bids, and the one that we had last year came in at the lowest bid. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve Precision Trenchless LLC to line a CB manhole 80 inches for a drainage job on a Lakeshore Road property in the amount of $7,309. Budget code 003-5112-4540-0000, and this is on the Sourcewell contract.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve the rehire of Barbara Charizia, part-time deputy town clerk, in the amount of $21 an hour per the approved budget amount effective May 4th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Zoning and planning approve auction of surplus vehicle. Move for the adoption of a resolution to consider the following item as surplus and to list it with Auctions International to be auctioned online. 2016 Jeep Patriot, VIN number 1C4NJRFB9GD542202. This vehicle is being replaced by a 2020 Dodge Durango transferred from the police department to zoning.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Procopio, has that Durango been put into service yet? Okay, thanks.
And then we're going to auction the other one.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed. Anybody have any discussion items?
Just for clarification as to why we are leaving the moratorium in place, because there was no discussion solicited. We were trying to get to the police officers. There are moratoriums remaining in place for the remaining parcels because we are still, and Mr. Steinmetz is left, still looking at either another overlay district or another mechanism to put some additional zoning regulations in there. That area is obviously going to be a target for future development, but it is very rural in character, and we want to put some regulations in place that will help preserve the rural character and the rural nature of that area, even as it's developed. Things like clustering to increase the amount of green space, maybe modified building setbacks, certainly limitations on building height in proximity to the road. So that is something that Colliers is still looking at, and that is why the moratorium does remain in effect as to those parcels.
Anyone else?
Do we want to discuss Kate's Bellwood Creek project?
Yes, we do. Kate, do you want to bring it up?
Okay,
I don't have a
sure.
resolution for it,
Right.
but we can discuss it.
Well,
That's-
well,
it's only if, my hope is just if we pass it, and I apologize pushing this at the last second on you guys without getting the resolution. And the purpose of trying to do that is just because the foliage is coming out and things are starting to grow and it's harder to see. So the earliest that we can get them involved, hopefully they can see a little more. But this is just a contract with Ramble to do preliminary design and pre-application with Army Corps of Engineers and DEC for the lining stabilization of Bellwood Creek. So we've had a lot of, Steve's office gets a lot of people calling in saying, hey, this part's caving in. There's certain parts that are fine. The town did a small portion of it 20 years ago, and I wish they had done more because now the regulations are so much harder to go in the creek and do work. So have a proposal from Ramble. I think it was $12,000. And this is to take us through where we all meet with DEC and Army Corps, and they tell us what the requirements are. Then the next proposal. So if they have to do a delineation or whatever they have to do, and then the next step would be it would go to bid for construction. So the only reason I apologize, pushed this was just to get the 2-week jump versus going to the next meeting. But you all saw a copy of the proposal. So, and we did have a line item for the budget. There was $100,000 that the board passed for Bellwood Creek. So, there is that budget item. So if everybody's comfortable and someone could come up with a resolution.
I talked to Chris today. I'm okay.
I'm
But-
good,
and
I'm good.
I'll leave it up to the rest of the board.
What exactly are we approving tonight then? Can you just make that crystal clear?
Sure, that is for Ramble to go to walk again. We've already walked it with them to identify the exact areas that need stabilization because they don't all need it. And then they will set up the meeting with Army Corps and DEC and sit down and find out exactly what the requirements are. Once we learn that, then we'll develop the next proposal that takes it.
So this is
completely.
just approving them going to check it out to see what is the priority.
And the biggest, that's part of it. And the other part is to meet with DEC and Army Corps and find out what we're going to be required to do.
All the preliminary work before construction starts.
Yes. So we tried to limit, they gave us a much larger proposal, but we wanted to cut it back until we actually hear what's required from Army Corps and DEC, because we really don't know what they're going to ask us to do.
We'd love to go in there and clean it out.
Clean it and stabilize it with those slates,
That's right.
but
I'll have Counselor Carp read a resolution.
Sure. Move the adoption resolution accepting a proposal from Ramble dated May 8th, 2024. Is that correct? That's the dating. That's the date on the letter.
gee. Yeah,
correct?
and that's wrong.
Okay.
And it should have been, it should have been, it was April, it should have been April 8th, 2025.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
April 8th. I see it. All right. Move the adoption resolution accepting a proposal dated April 8th, 2025 from Ramble regarding Bellwood Creek preliminary design and permitting services. This resolution authorizes the town supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to carry it into effect. And this is in an amount not to exceed $12,000.
Second.
Okay,
Good
great.
discussion. Fine.
Are you good with that, Mr. Jermaine? Okay, then, yeah. He looked like his wheels were turning.
He always looks like.
I'm sorry, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, Thank you.
Discussion?
that was mine.
Long overdue?
Hmm?
Long
Oh,
overdue?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this needs to be done.
Yes, aye.
Thank you, Kate.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, Pat. Got a couple things on the. You want to say something, great, Tracy?
I did.
Yeah,
Oh. Did you want to say something, Tracy?
I would just like to remind everybody about Earth Day. It's going to be on Saturday, April 26th. We're all going to meet at the Cicero Highway Garage at 8:30 to 12. We just really want to see a great community effort to clean up the town of Cicero after our long winter. So I'm just, if anybody needs any details or any information, I have stickers, I have bags, and we just hope we have a really great turnout on Saturday. And if somebody wants to pick up, if it all, if the weather is better on Friday and you want to clean up an area and bring it to the highway department, we encourage that too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy. I have a couple things left. So on Monday evening, Counselor Hogan and I, we attended the Central New York Associations of Chiefs of Police Awards banquet, where Officer Luis Figueroa was presented with the Law Enforcement Life Saving Award and Detective Sean Wallace with the Law Enforcement Commendation Award. And you want to read this, Ashley?
Sorry. In September, Officer Fagora was dispatched to a maternity call. He arrived just 2 minutes after the initial 911 call and noted that a woman had just delivered a baby and the baby was in distress. Having former experience as an EMT, he recognized that the baby had been delivered in a breech position and instantly observed that the umbilical cord was wrapped around the baby's neck, not once but twice. The infant was turning bluish in color and not breathing. He unraveled the umbilical cord from the infant's neck counterclockwise, retrieved a nose section, and used it to help clear the baby's mouth and nose of obstruction. Officer Fagora began to flick the infant's feet and chest, and the baby began breathing. Both mom and baby were transported to the hospital and found in good health. The decisive and quick actions of Officer Fagora, without question, saved the baby's life. We should have done this when they were here. Detective Sean Wallace has been instrumental in several key investigations in 2024 that either resulted in criminal charges being filed or in overall positive outcome for the victims and the Cicero community. To highlight a few, a larceny in which the suspect stole money and deposits in the amount of $19,539 from victims who were paying monthly rent to the complex. The suspect utilized various means to scam the tenants. The suspect was subsequently arrested for grand larceny. Third, a burglary and stolen vehicles case from a local Cicero business, which resulted in 24 felony and misdemeanor charges filed against 7 suspects. A fraud case in which the suspect engaged in unauthorized activities by withdrawing and stealing $10,000 from the victim's account. Through investigation, Wallace and other law enforcement partners identified the suspect, and an arrest warrant was issued for numerous felony and misdemeanor charges. We want to congratulate both Officer Fagora and Wallace for your outstanding service to the community and hard work.
These are just some of the things that our officers do on a daily basis that the general public don't usually hear about. And I had the opportunity to serve as a police officer in the town of Cicero. And I think Ashley, being at the event the other night, you want to comment on some of the things that you've heard? And
Yeah, I just think it was so cool. I actually was sitting right next to Jim and I said, I wish people were here that don't believe in you guys and don't support you guys, because to sit here and listen to all of these stories of things that these guys deal with on a daily basis, and all are so humble. I mean, they go up there and they're just kind of like, okay, give me my reward. Like, I'm just doing my job, and it's just, to not look at these people and view them as heroes and you're sitting in this event would just be like ridiculous. So I literally said that to him. I said, I wish everybody in the whole community could sit here and listen and watch these stories, because it was incredible to just see these heroes humbly go up and just take a award that they feel like they didn't even deserve, because they just are doing their job. And just to be in a room of all of these types of people was incredible. It was a great experience, and I was glad I got to be there for you guys.
thank you. The last thing on my discussion item for tonight brings us some sad news that we announced that our Parks Director, Teresa Roth, will be leaving us on May 2nd. Before the next meeting, we'll have something to say, but we're going to miss you, Teresa. Okay. Does anyone else have anything to say? Anybody from the public want to come up and speak?
My name is Mike Franklin, 1406 North State Street, Syracuse. I have some concerns about your Board of Assessment review. I hope my comments are viewed as being productive. I came here in November because you had a agenda item. You're going to vote on 2 new members of the Board of Assessment review. You tabled the matter. I foiled the resumes of the members and 2 potential members. And I received that foiled response after you voted on it. I don't know if the delay was intentional. There was an appearance that it was, but maybe it wasn't. But in any case, I was watching for the agenda for the matter to be brought up again because I wanted to speak on it. Because I believe that it's extremely important that the Board of Assessment review be done properly because the majority of your revenue comes from taxpayers. And I believe that you owe it to them to do the assessment job properly. So on January 2nd, you had an agenda that said organizational meeting, pledge the flag, organizational meeting, adjourn. That's all it said. And you voted those 2 members in. I checked with the Kristen Smith with the New York State Committee on Open Government. She indicated if you're going to be voting on something, it needs to be on the agenda. It wasn't on the agenda. It creates the appearance that you're just kind of pushing these people through. I did get the resumes on those 2 people. They seem like very good guys. One of them's an Air Force guy. The other guy is a quality control guy. I don't know what that has to do with real estate valuation. I believe that you need to make a concerted effort to find the most qualified people to be on that Board of Assessment review. It would be nice to have an attorney. It'd be nice to have people who know something about real estate valuation. I don't think the Air Force wants me working on their equipment, and I don't want their Air Force guys, talking to me when they really won't know what I'm talking about. So all I'm asking you to do is be transparent about who you're assigning, and that you make a concerted effort to find the very best people that you can. It might be difficult, but all I ask you to do is just make a good faith effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, no one else? Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Favor?